Medfit Rehab founder Joanne James is a medical exercise specialist. Medfit Rehab, restoring strength and movement, making a difference in people's lives. 647-259-5481. Columbus Center, Athletic Department, Dufferin and Lawrence, medfitrehab.com. If you've been diagnosed with a chronic ailment, diabetes, osteoporosis, cardiovascular cancer, Joanne James, medical exercise specialist for over 25 years, is your answer. Joanne and her hands-on team of professionals will design a customized medically based exercise program for you. Medfit Rehab provides the best in post-rehab functional conditioning programs. Medfit Rehab, Columbus Center, Athletic Department, Dufferin and Lawrence, 647-259-5841, medfitrehab.com. Hi, Joanne. How are you this morning? Nice to have you back.
Thanks, Zelda. I'm hot, but...
You didn't get caught in that rain last night, did you?
Not at all. No, I know when to listen to the weather people.
Okay, I was coming home, but it was earlier, so there wasn't a lot of rain, just starting to rain. Okay, so what are rotator cuff injuries and exercises?
Well, you know what? It's one of the most probably injured parts of the body, which is around the shoulder area. Our rotator cuff is a group of muscles and tendons that attach to the bones of the shoulder joint, and they allow the shoulder to move and to keep stable. So it's right in the shoulder joint, and again, it's the group of muscles and tendons. The most common injuries we tend to have is the rotator cuff tear or tendonitis, and the rotator cuff tear is when the tendon is torn as a result of injury or overuse. The tendonitis is when there's irritation and swelling of the tendons that form the cuff that surrounds the shoulder joint. Those are the two most common. And I think how you see it, Zelda, and you may have seen it, sometimes it looks like a frozen shoulder, but generally it's you experience some stiffness and pain. There's difficulty reaching behind your back, buckling your seatbelt, combing your hair. If you're lifting outwards or over the head, your movements are restricted. If you're sleeping or it's painful to sleep on that shoulder at night, or it actually wakes you up when you're in pain. So deep within the shoulder area, yeah.
So what do you do to fix that or prevent it?
Well, one of the things you do is look at the activity that you're doing and stop. So, for instance, if you play a ton of tennis and you're out of shape, but you've been playing a lot of tennis and a lot of that overhead, and you notice your shoulder is starting to bother you, you need to back down. You need to stop. Secondly, if you have that kind of a problem, you do need to see the doctor, definitely to get it diagnosed, because if you don't get it diagnosed incorrectly, most people continue to do the activity that actually irritates it, aggravates it, and creates a long-term chronic problem because it wasn't managed well. You'll be probably referred to a physiotherapist, but what I find is people don't follow through with their physiotherapy treatment, and secondly, they don't exercise, and exercising is the key to helping to heal that shoulder area, but the proper exercise is what's most important to do.
Well, that's interesting to know, because most people think that if you have, you've hurt something in your body, that you rest it. So
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, you're so right. And they stop moving that shoulder, and then it becomes sometimes what they call a frozen shoulder, where they can't move anymore because they've not gotten the appropriate rehab. But most importantly, they've stopped moving that joint, and it needs to be moved. However, it needs to be moved appropriately. So we have a program for people who come in with those kinds of issues after they've been diagnosed and discharged from their physiotherapist. They need exercise to work the whole body, but they also need to continue to do exercises that are going to help to continue to heal that shoulder area. And it's how much you do, the way you do that exercise is going to determine how well your shoulder heals. But if you don't exercise that shoulder appropriately, it will become a chronic issue.
Okay, but what happens when you first injure that shoulder? I know I hurt my shoulder. I saw you later on, too late after the fact. It took almost a year or more before the pain left. But people were telling me to rest the shoulder for a while. Don't do the same exercises that you've done that probably made the shoulder, that you injured the shoulder because of.
So the question I would have is, when you say people were telling me, my question would be, who are the people?
Okay.
Because if they're your friends, your buddies, your other gym friends in the gym, it's not relevant. Should not be listening to these people because they're not professionals. They mean well, but they're not professional. What you do is you find a professional, i.e., speak to the physio, the doctor and the physio first to make sure you get the right diagnosis. But then you work with someone like myself or Michelle. We're medical exercise specialists. We're trained to actually work with people who have shoulder issues, knee issues, hip replacements, and other chronic illnesses. And we have the protocols that ensure that you're going to do the appropriate exercise for your injury and create a better healing situation for that shoulder.
Well,
so that's what's important, Jeff.
Okay, but the point is, do you ice the shoulder? What do you do as you're getting advice from yourself and a treatment program? Well,
first of all, the treatment must be diagnosed by the professional, so the physiotherapist or the doctor, because it might be ice, it could be heat, it could be cold, it could be rest, it could be there's medication that you might have to take. They might do ultrasound, they might give you a cortisone shot or injection. You might require surgery, because if you actually tore the rotator cuff muscle, then you've got a bigger issue. So there's a number of ways that you treat a rotator cuff injury, and they all vary based on what the injury is. So no, you don't just ice or add heat according to what you'd like to do. You have to follow a proper prescription in terms of how to manage that shoulder issue or hip issue or knee issue for that matter, because all injuries are not the same. They're not created equal based on the body that was injured. So
that's very interesting and probably totally opposite to what most people think. Mm-hmm. I mean, everybody is, everybody's an expert and everybody gives you advice except the right person who really knows what to do to take care of that injury. Thank you so much, Joanne. Always a pleasure. And I think you're going to be in the studio tomorrow live for the very first time to do our little chat.
Oh, I think it's the second.
Isn't it tomorrow's the Wednesday?
No, you're right. Tomorrow's the first time live. My pleasure.
All right.
My honor.
We'll see you then.
Fantastic.
You have a great day. Take care.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Joanne James, founder and medical exercise specialist of Medfit Rehab, will improve your overall health through medical exercise. Contact Joanne James, 647-259-5481, Columbus Center Athletic Department, Dufferin and Lawrence, medfitrehab.com.